Oh, no! Oh!
I'm going to tell Michelle.
Can you grow a front mullet? Can you grow a front mullet though with your beard?
Wait.
A frollet.
I don't know how that would work.
I think it's called a fringe.
That's just a beard.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's either a fringe or a beard.
A rat tail with, okay, how about a beard with one really long braid? That's the equivalent of a rat tail.
One of my friends has like just this one little white patch in his hair, and it's maybe about the size of a 10p. And I've just told him to just
Malin
grow it out.
streaks. Yeah.
Just grow it out there, and I was like, yeah, just grow it like
There was a
wrap
guy
it
in
around or
MasterChef this
something.
year,
I enjoy it.
and there was a guy who had a Malin streak like that. There's a white streak through his hair. And I'm like, oh, that's quite cool. I might get that, Sarah. And she was like, if you get that, I will break up with you. And she was just not like, I was like, ha ha ha.
You come in the room with a hat.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next day.
It was like Dole wearing the bandana for a while after you went white.
Still nothing of it.
No.
What happened to the big grey patch?
Yeah, it was white actually.
Well, white weather. Big old snake in his
You
hair.
rolled a 3. The same. The
Oh my
DC
God.
was
I
5.
thought you were like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm so sure you loved it when you had it.
His bandana as well.
I instantly went to the shop and was like,
Bandana. Oh, hello there, Mr. Dwarf.
I had one towel. I just put a paper bag over my head.
Imagine just see 2 little eyes.
Hatred and death.
Just red eyes.
Advantage on spell checks.
I do not believe.
What?
We're getting the decomposed beetle.
Yeah.
Shit, it's
You like it?
love it.
I made it like exactly how it looked when you gave it to me.
I was going to say, how his character looks as of this movie.
Nah, that'd be like a pepperoni.
Oh, yeah, it would. Or like Hayden Christian.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually.
Exactly like that. Like when you burn the top of a lasagna.
Darth Toby.
Darth Toby.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
He's more man. He's more machine than man.
Or Robo Toby. Or Toby.
Robbie. Robbie.
Roddy.
Roddy. Darth Roddy.
Actually, it'd be Rodias.
Rodias.
It's a great name.
Cool. We all ready?
No.
No. Can we just skip ahead of you or something?
Yeah.
All in favour say aye. There we go. Doll say aye.
I didn't hear enough eyes, so therefore we're going to continue.
Oh.
If
So,
we skip ahead a year, that means I'm definitely not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless, like, someone else took your body and made you into Darth Toby,
That'd be cool.
and then we can have our reunion scene
Well, we have to fight
Happy
him
stuff.
where we fight you until we realise it's you, and then there's
there.
the
And then we
heartwarming-
continue to fight him.
No.
Wow.
Oh.
It's over, Toby.
Hang on.
I have the high
Yeah,
ground.
exactly.
No,
Just so-
we do the whole Luke and Darth Vader
From
thing
my
where
point of
Sarah's
view,
still
you're
good
wrong.
in you.
You have to go kill a bunch of children first, though.
It's probably
What
on
now?
It's probably on
Like
the
me or Toby?
Come on.
You forget I already have.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
the children?
Inadvertently.
Okay, yeah,
So-
but not like
That's
slaughtering
a
them with a
technicality.
lightsaber, kind of killing children.
No, slaughtering with
Well,
the
no, that's
sword
cool.
of famine.
Sword of famine.
The
What?
one scribbles down D&D note furious sword. When you hit by it, you're just really hungry.
Welcome to episode 23, entitled Lord Tobias Fairmound.
Oh,
That's me!
I'm sure that's good. That's a good side, right?
Last we left off, the champions of Kyrathis had travelled to Lord Tobias' home city of Summercroft
Oh, shit.
to investigate the bounty that had been placed upon his head. You face a number of encounters on the tradeway, including coming across giants, strange campsites, and the such, but found yourself arriving in Summercrest not far past sunset. You'd walked into the main square to find yourself surrounded by guards, a welcoming party of sorts, who escorted you into a large black cathedral, and out of the main building to the east side of it, a temple to Ilmater, the god of pain and suffering. Here you encountered a silver-haired male human who accused Tobias of bankrupting the city and bringing his house into disrespect and disrepair by sending years of debts back to the Fairmound family. Toby accepted these charges and was escorted to the prisons. Gritvold was then accused of the murders in Darramore and was told he would be having a trial shortly after Tobias' punishment, which was death. Bree snuck out through the city and eventually came across Carlia, an old friend of Tobias, who told him there was a resistance to the Triad's rule, and there would be a prison break tomorrow morning on the guard change. The prison break went off with mixed results. You confronted Carlia, found out what was going on in the city, that not everyone was willing to accept the oppression from the new religious zealots in town, but the majority ruled. You decided that you would need to turn the minds and hearts of the different groups of the city, the merchants, the guards, the civilians, so that you might better stand a chance of overthrowing and maintaining control. You started by raiding a warehouse in the trade district, which stored a shipment of alcohol, which the merchants of the city wanted retrieved. You managed to offload around 75% of the shipment before the guards broke in and you sailed off into the night. You travelled back to the inn and rested up, but when you awoke, you had heard of an attack in the night. A dragon had burned the northeastern section of the city. You found out that whilst there had been some sightings and sheep going missing, this was the first brazen attack on the city itself. You decided what better way to impress the citizens of Summercrest but to remove their pesky dragon problem. You journeyed into...
Oh, pesky dragons.
Pesky dragon.
You journeyed into the old lair of Balagos the Red, a legendary red dragon of old, and confronted their newcomer. Inside the cavern, you ventured deep into the cavern, passing many offshoots, and entering the main cavern, repetition of words, you found yourself a huge pile of gold and a larger pile of magma bubbling away.
I love magma.
Pool. Literally have written pool. You heard the voice of the dragon, who crowned herself Balfrig, the daughter of Balagos, and she attacked you from the pool of bubbling lava where she was hiding. The fight was great, but the losses were greater. Lord Tobias alighted Balfrig's back, and she went to dive into the lava pool, and whilst he managed to jump off in time before fully submerging himself in lava, he suffered great injuries.
Oh, Jesus.
You slew...
What a stupid way to die.
You slew Balfrig.
Riding a dragon into lava?
That's the best way to die.
I know.
You
It's
slew...
like tuberculosis. Jesus.
You slew Balfrig, and she shuddered still, partially submerged in the lava. Hex rushed to Tren and poured a potion down his throat, before rushing to Tobias' body. The party gathered round the smouldering remains of Lord Tobias, and Tren poured his last point of laying hands into Toby. But as he did so, he noticed the stillness, the emptiness. And as we left off, Tren said, "He's doing that thing again, just joking around. Come on, Toby. Get up."
Like, I love it again.
Oh, God.
I think where I left last session is I was round the other side of one of the columns. There's like a stallion
Mm-hmm.
there. So I'll start making my way round to the rest of the time.
Yeah, because I was with him.
You venture around the stalagmite, and you see before you Tren, Hex, standing over a slightly smouldering body of Lord Tobias.
Guys, I'll make my way right over.
Mhm.
I'm assuming I'm getting a vibe of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bree's gonna start crying. She's full on weeping right now.
I take my jacket off and put it over his body.
Over his face or just over?
The nasty bit.
And
You
then
can
his
still
face,
see
so
all
yes, his
over.
face.
It's mostly face.
Are his eyes open or are they closed?
Can we distinguish his eyelids?
Oh god!
A melted flesh.
You tried to close them, but there's no eyelids left.
They're partially open.
I'll close it fully.
Like, what if you go to touch him and then it just sort of like squidges his whole face apart?
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Appropriately, the arm for my figure has fallen off, so maybe we could incorporate that into something.
Oh shit. That's a bit sad. Unlike this, which is comical.
I know this is a tender moment for everyone, but we need to get out of here quick because I'm starting to feel very dehydrated from the heat. And I'm going to do any of us good remaining in here.
I will wrap up Toby.
There's a strange warmth emanating from him. His body and clothes.
Harry? No!
Trent, you're a paladin. You know about resurrection and stuff. Can he be resurrected? Can we bring him back?
I can. I'm not strong enough.
I'm gonna grab a bag of holding and start stuffing as much of the dragon's hoard into it as possible.
It's not even a wanted.
How long do you want to spend doing this?
Oh my god.
Well, I'm just gonna be saying, okay, well, you can't do it. I'm sure we can pay someone to do it. This has got to be enough, right? How much do you think it would cost?
We've looted.
I don't know.
The goal's not to disappear. We need to leave. I'm gonna head over to like the trench of lava that would block the path in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna have another look and see if there's a better way than leaping across.
You're still with a prince.
What, and ruin Hex's jacket?
But after.
It'll be fine.
Like beside the rocks, like the cavern sides are better for like there's any like foothold to get across.
It's certainly of natural construction. It's not like it's completely smooth on the sides, but there's no clear definitive path. You could, if you've got gear of sorts, you could perhaps try and set up some ropes and wherever you can hammer into the rock and sorts to maybe
Hand him my rope.
assist you across. Yeah.
I'll give you my rope that can do stuff for you.
Well, as you start to, you still got Toby in your hand. As you start to move away, just a small piece of paper falls from his pocket and lands at Bree's feet. You find by your feet.
Wait, what?
Oh, might have kicked under.
Oh.
On the Batman notepad.
The
Who's his
plans that Tobias had made to
Oh,
kill the dragon.
he spelled my name wrong.
Jesus Christ.
Did I give you that? When did I give you that?
Turn is awesome. Tommy music, yeah. Bry, so stab. Gripwald, go shoot.
And then Hex is creepy, but
Good.
good.
Willis loves us. We are okay. Carlisle for Queen of Summercrest.
Summer Curse.
Summercrest.
I'll show Doyle.
I've seen it.
You've seen it?
As you move over, you move to the other side of the cavern, passing this large mound of gold where Bree is handling.
What's that paper made of? Look at like armor made of that.
Kind of like here or something.
It's just perfectly fine.
I am like Petrode. I'm Anakin. This piece of paper is like brand new, apparently.
Laminated.
You move over to the gap and yeah, get a good pic. Your rope.
Just we'll like signal for Gritball to grab it or whatever so we can use it.
So you've got Hex's rope, which can form rigid patterns. So whether you want to use that as a, how do you want to use it?
Come on, sorry, form a rigid.
You can command it to be in any shape you want. So whether that's just like a straight line forward, whether you want to use that to kind of stay on the wall, if you know what I mean. So you don't need to hammer it into the wall.
There are like two places where you could attach it on either side, where you could like hold on to it and shoot it across like that.
Getting your body out is a
Yeah, it's,
logistical nightmare. I hope
I could probably jump.
it doesn't need held
Sorry
in
for
place.
dying.
The point of it is that it holds itself in place.
Oh, well.
His hands isn't like
Poke it out.
Okay. Just do an. Are you doing it with Tobias's body?
I won't carry it. I'm not going to.
Right, so you're just going across yourself. Yeah, make an athletics check with advantage. Athletics or acrobatics?
Hex, are you wearing a top hat?
It's like a witch hunter.
I thought you were Poseidon at the first time I saw that.
I rolled a 12.
Yeah, that's fine.
So essentially a top hat, yeah. Sure. Let's go for this.
So, because it's only 5 feet, you wouldn't be able to stay up there for long.
At
But
this stage.
you move across the other side 5.
Just insect hunter underneath.
I just need to stay.
You even got your sideburns in.
No. And how did he know we're barefoot?
So was he just setting up the ropes or did he get across?
Go across.
Remind me how big the lake or the stream was,
About 5 foot across.
so I could reach and get him.
How big are your arms? 2.5 feet long?
Okay, fine.
He's got arms. You can reach across as well. Oh,
Or how would I do with the rope thing that he set up and a
Jump.
body in my hands?
Maybe not over your hand, but if you put it over your shoulder. Or you could jump.
it's a rampage.
Silence list.
Yeah, okay, I'll just jump in. I'll just jump in. What do I need to roll?
Athletics.
Oh boy.
11.
Oh.
You just got across, which is fine. It's a bit tasky.
Not a lot. Smouldering.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you want to do a smoldering check?
Doing a good job of it.
Would you roll for that again?
D20 and
Very
plus, you've got proficiency at the moment.
It's smolder.
3.
With advantage?
Yeah, go for it.
Um.
You think I do?
It's not like we'll be able to tell. He's wrapped back.
So, 17.
Extra smoke seems to start billowing out from underneath.
Oh god, I started a small flame!
Guys!
Just a breeze of you
Try and-
jumping.
Continue grabbing gold into the bag of holding until someone stops me.
Tren. Tren goes to the dragon and takes a scale off of it, and then thundering smites the dragon into lava.
Okay. You take 1 point of heat damage.
Falls down.
No,
Of what damage?
heat fire. As
My dad like that.
as the
No, that's
scale
stupid
burns
anything.
the flesh in your skin, but you pocked it and thundering smite and roll a d20 for me.
I think it's 15.
So you knock it, and the body, whilst large, moves a good 10-15 feet until it's just the head remains. But the force of it, you see it slowly starting to sink and moving until it's just the top part of the neck, and then the head, and then just the eyes staring at you with this kind of cruel grin on its face until it's just the nose.
Just before it goes down, I just say, I never got to apologize because of you. And I just kick it in. And then Sir Rampage and I go and get free.
Bree, you get in maybe 1,000 gold into a bag of folding?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just holding it open and I'm scooping it.
Oh, that's some really good technique, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, this
Just
is a
running
big
back
thing
and
that happens like,
Yeah, that's it.
scooping.
Crying.
Don't you mock my pain.
Sorry, I just go and hug her.
There is you spent maybe 5 minutes at this. There's still a lot of gold left, and you see other trinkets and the likes within the pile. So you,
So, how much gold roughly would you say that I've scooped up in this time?
1,000.
1,000, okay.
I just go and hug her.
And yeah, you see other things, some potions, gleaming glint of a hilt, deeper, kind of much higher and kind of deeper, but you have to spend some time excavating.
Maybe we can bring them back. I mean, this has to. We've got the gold.
Do you want to ride in Sir Rampage?
No, I think I'd rather walk.
Sir Rampage nuzzles her.
Okay, let's go.
We head out.
You're making your way over. Do you want to jump across on the rampage, or do you want to jump across if you want to use the handholds?
How far is it?
It's about 5 feet.
Oh, I can jump that.
Roll a quick check for it.
You know, have like advantage and something.
No, I have a special thing where on a running jump I can add
Third line.
the number of feet that I can jump. I add to it my dexterity bonus, which is 5, so I can jump an extra 5 feet from what I would roll
Oh,
anyway.
so you'll jump across that way.
Yeah.
Well, roll. No, we don't need a natural one. It's fine. I can't do it.
Yeah, 5 points.
Tren, no, you roll.
Sir Rampage mountain goats it along the wall.
Can you go
Roll
real?
a quick check for some rampage jumping across.
With me on him. 18.
So you make your way across, retrieve the rope.
I'll shoot it hand in hand.
And begin to make your way through the snaking tunnels. Stifling in here. The
He just combusts again. You have to cut him out about 5 times on the way back.
This is really undignified.
the
You should
tears
have died in a more dignified way.
You were never dignified, it suits you.
the tears on Bree's face.
Died the way. Carelessly.
Flaming.
Tears on Bree's face kind of start to mingle with the kind of soot and ash that's in the air until it's almost slightly kind of
You look like
Great.
a Les Miserables extra.
He's going to go off the eyeliner now.
We're just gonna keep the look. This is the new breed.
That's badass. Tattoo it on. You tattoo suit. Yeah. You should set out.
make your way out and it twists, and these tunnels almost seem longer this way. It twists one way and then the other, and portions of it are dark, and then
Carry more dead weight, aren't you?
light again as a side tunnel, just briefly illuminated by piles of magma. And
The soul weighs 6 inches.
I'm sorry?
Freudian slip. 6 ounces, apparently, the soul weighs.
you
Does there seem to be any change to the tunnel, like from when we came in? Like, is there more magma now, or is there less magma, or...
you don't notice any difference. Nothing substantial. And you make your way out, and this tunnel was huge. This was very, very large. And as you make your way out of the mouth of the cave, you see and look up into the night. Day.
Yeah, I think, was it like
I
11
don't know,
o'clock
we
in
did
the morning?
Yeah,
we
that's
did
even
say
worse.
afternoon.
That's like walking out of a club and it being
Yeah.
morning.
And looking out into the, blinking into the bright day, birds chirping, sky shining.
I did that in Berlin when we're closed, clubs are open till like 12 in the afternoon. And we were coming out at like 8. I was like,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Right back in again.
Let's go find someone to bring back. Yeah, there'll be someone. I'm not good enough yet, but we'll find someone.
Okay, I guess we're heading back towards the city.
So, make your way down from the mountain in a awkward silence.
You're tied to the back of the rampage. Drag it on.
Are you riding him or Sir Rampage?
Surfing.
Like a slave.
You make your way from the rocky top where you're at into the
like barbecue grease.
the
Smell
forest
made
below.
me hungry.
And you make your way through the forest, and it's like the world doesn't know what's just happened. You see animals jumping through the trees, squirrels. You see a deer perk its head up and then prance away.
Toby used to prance.
Toby used to perk his head.
You make your way back to the main path, the tradeway, and you remember now this is where you came along, and you looked up this way on your way to Summercrest. You looked up this path, but you take the path to the left, it's veering off towards Summercrest. You follow this for 3 hours or so. You start to get hungry, but
Spice the rations.
Used to be.
Do we know where Willis is, by the way? That was a quick aside.
He was in the church.
Was he in the church? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, okay.
Of one of them. I can't remember which one. But it was one of them.
Um,
Because there's 2 parts, right? Yeah. Of the church.
3 in total.
3 yes, that's right.
So I called the duad.
The one ad.
Before we go back to the city, I don't mean to, like, if this is rude or disrespectful, but I think we should take the horn off of Toby's possession and store it in in the bag of holding, because I know he's passed and everything, but we don't know how the city's going to react, and to be honest, I don't fancy any of those fanatics getting hold of it.
I mean, did it even survive?
I don't know.
I don't want to check.
I'll check if everyone's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, I'm sure it will. Yeah, you're probably right.
Can't be sure. That's fine.
I
I know, but they may still.
It's
No one
time to
to
see
see
it
it.
as rape if it's a body, is it? Oh,
I think we're
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, what if then you're brought back and you're like, oh, I feel a bit stiff.
A while?
You check his body, and there are lots of kind of charred possessions, but all of his magical ones take a lot more than just a little bit of violence.
I'm not taking any other. I just want the horn specifically.
Yeah.
To be.
Horn is intact, if still a little warm to the touch, although it's fading now.
I'll take it. Do we? By the way, do we have two?
Open
bags?
wide.
You got the horn now, though.
Oh, thank
So
you.
you have
Yeah,
a
cheers.
Here you go.
like
There you go.
port that you can fit in.
Katrina does have a CD port in that, don't you? This way.
We're not stuffing anything into it.
Is that not how it works?
It's not the first time I've heard those words.
Yeah. Do we? Does Tren and Bree both have a bag of holding each?
No.
Or is it just alright? I'll go over to Bree.
Just try and breathe his borrowing it from the gold.
Can we start? Do you mind if we stall this?
No?
The bag of holding.
Yeah, I'll just open it.
All the money falls out.
Yeah, you pop it.
Pardon?
Yeah, pop it. Do you want to take it back off?
Alright, yeah.
Okay, that's done.
Pick him up again. Come back from right behind the creep.
What are you doing back in there? Oh, not again. Not in character.
Did it so you guys didn't have to look at it.
Look at what?
Him!
Oh, right!
The thing that I'm carrying!
I forgot you were
What?
carrying it. I thought you were doing like a blood
What
ring or
remains?
something. Or having a slash, I don't know.
Peeing on it.
Like, what you did it on fire,
That's
so.
what Tobias would have wanted.
Cal, when we left the city,
Yeah.
do it stealthily, or was I in some? I can't remember if I was in a disguise or something.
I maybe made you invisible.
I believe you were made invisible so you could leave the city, yeah. But the rest of you still left fairly stealthily because you were seen doing the prison break the day before.
Yeah.
So.
Ah, crap.
I can do it again.
If
I'm
we went
going-
straight for the
Probably.
city-
I'm going in normally. I'm going in with him.
Yeah.
Okay, what? But I know we got. Are we staying outside the city or?
You should stay safe. I'm going in to find Willis.
I'm going to.
I'm going
Okay.
to.
I can make you invisible to come to for an hour, but
Yeah, you can all go in. I'll.
you can make your way to the cellar or
Pantry.
the place that we know where to get you.
Like risking trying to like stealth through the city or.
Yeah, but you know the hideout.
Yeah.
In the city.
Yeah, it's still getting to the hideout. I'm thinking.
I can turn you invisible and you can go
Oh, I
there.
didn't hear that. So yeah, okay.
Okay. So you make your way to the outskirts of the city, and if you remember, it's kind of you come to the top of the cliff, kind of overlooking Summer Crest. The sea kind of stretching off into the horizon. The midday sun is now approaching 2, 3 in the afternoon, kind of twinkling on the sea, and you see some boats out in the bay. To the south, to the right, you see the castle, you see the keep, and before you the sprawling town. A small part of it, just on the edge, kind of singed from the attack the night before. Some houses now just smoking. The fire's long since been put out from the night before. everything is normal, and you begin to make your way down the tradeway, and it leads into the city, and you get into the new houses at the edge of the city, and then into
I've made him invisible.
Yeah, just wait down, like, if you need me, I'll be at the hideout.
Okay.
Cool.
You
And
say,
then
Mr. Greatbolt.
once I'm invisible, I'll just start making my way there.
begin to make your way across the town. Not an issue. Make your way to the pantry, into the stables where the hideout is, and the rest of you continue through the newer buildings into the kind of more the older buildings, stone, until you reach the town square where you entered just a couple of days ago. And as you've been kind of going through the town, there have been some people have kind of been looking, not saying, you look behind you, and there's a small crowd starting to gather, just whispers, people following. Nobody's come up and said anything. And this is the first point as you reach the town square where there are guards. And they kind of eye you warily, but keep your distance. Do you carry Tobias' body into the centre of the square?
Is this the square with the church in it?
As you enter on one side, the cathedral is in front of you, a huge, towering black building with the two kind of newer kind of offshoots to the.
I thundering smite the door down and shout Willis.
You kind of make your way up to the steps leading up to the cathedral, and there are some guards there, and they go to stop you and see the body in your arms, and kind of confused, unsure quite what to do. They make a and you just kind of straight up past them, and the doors are kind of somewhat ajar. The guard don't know quite whether to open it, and you just slam your mace. Well, Morning Star. You began with M.
Could you thundering smite with Toby?
Oh yeah. Willis!
There is this thundering boom as you hit just in the middle of the two, so both of the doors.
Do they fall? Does the frame fall down? The keys let the frame.
As they kind of both swing open and hit the sides with a bang, and there's this kind of thundering echoing through the silence of the cathedral, and see before you the long cathedral with the large pillars that kind of go up to the ceiling, the kind of stained glass windows that kind of shine this kind of ethereal light down into the inner sanctum, so to speak.
I guess I just walk in and the atrium with lots of rampage. Click, clop, click.
And you hear the clip clop, and Willis! And you just hear his name kind of echo.
Willis?
Echo. And from the right of the, to your right, out comes the silver-haired man that you'd met the day before, or the day before that. The Minister of Tyr, Percy. His straight silver hair and hazel eyes, and he's still wearing his kind of his armor. It's kind of signifies his position as the Minister of Tyr. Ceremonial scimitar at his side and the shield on his back. And
That sounds fast.
scimitar shield.
Symbolic stuff.
And he kind of comes up to you and goes, what do we have here?
Where is Willis?
This is not here.
Go get him.
Is he?
And who are you to order me about, Bree of Luskin?
What you just said. Go get him.
What's this? Does Tobias still have his still something covering him?
Yeah.
What is that? It's just It's dripping on our floor.
I just noticed your t-shirt.
Look, we just killed a dragon to save this city. Go get Willis.
I don't care if you killed a dragon. One, I don't know if that's true. Two, thank you. But you
Fire bastard.
you came in here yesterday and I broke your friends out of jail.
I walk out again. I'm looking for Willis.
Willis!
Just shouting
Big
in the
Willie!
town. Just shouting in the town. Anybody know where he is?
At this point, there's
A little boy comes up. Yeah.
a large
That's
crowd
really
has
nice.
gathered in the square, and there's just kind of this whispered silence. And you come out, it's kind of quiet, but nobody responds. Excuse me, and explain.
Can you raise the dead?
Perhaps.
Do it. Do it. Do it. I knew as soon as I said it, it was like, do it. I am the Senate. Didn't have the high ground.
Huh. Why would I help those who are accused of organizing a prison break just days ago?
Anything you want. We have gold, we just bring him back.
Bring me back.
Lord Tobias.
Kind of takes a moment and looks at you with a weird mix of emotions on his face, kind of like surprise and shock and something else might be interpreted as
Might be interpreted as that.
excitement. And he kind of goes to just pull back just so that he can see the face of the body that you're holding. And he just kind of lifts it up a little and goes, why would I raise the dead of this upstart, the one who ruined this city? He's starting to project his voice so that others can hear.
Because he just saved it also.
You bring back a dead body and no proof of your actions.
I take out a dragon scale. This was from the beast.
You have a red scale. You could have found this on the ground on the way into his cavern. You have no proof that you've slain this dragon.
Send some men up. Come with us. Let's go.
I will not leave my power.
Let's get someone else. Send one of you guys to come with us. I'll go up there right now with him.
Send the guards that guard the city from the likes of you to investigate a dragon's lair.
2 people. Put me in jail. Go and look while we're incapacitated.
I'm gonna grab the bag of holding, open it to show all the gold in it, kick it towards him.
So
This is from the dragon's hoard. Will you take it and bring it back?
the way the bag of holding works is you kind of imagine what you want to come out of it.
Okay.
So you
throwing
can
money on
what you could do
I'm just gonna pour
Yeah,
all the money
is do that.
Oh shit, that's
Just
awesome.
keep going.
out.
How much do you pour? Because you've got more gold than me.
I mean, how long do you think I should be pouring it for dramatic effect?
As long as you can.
What else?
Let's say 500 gold.
Yeah, 500 gold falls out. That should take like a good while to fall out of the bag, like
Yeah.
good enough for a big dramatic moment.
Yeah.
Just stare at him. Don't say anything.
You just
Yeah,
kind of
massive.
stare.
Especially since I'm 3 feet tall,
Yeah.
just holding the bag like that, and the pile is like getting as big as me.
Yeah. And as these coins just kind of tinkle and kind of roll around and some guards can look, but
Roll it around.
They're all out. I've been with them. I'm sorry. I'm not. It should have been me.
There's nothing else. I think I'll finish these. You kind of see him go, okay, I'll send some men to verify, but that doesn't mean I'm going to raise him back from the dead just because he was foolish enough to take on a dragon. Anyway.
Foolish enough, we killed it.
I couldn't if I wanted to. I can't.
So who can?
You can what? Oh.
You said you could.
I said maybe I could.
Terrible at his job. Who can?
Someone to raise a body that has been dead this longer than mere moments. A powerful spellcaster. I don't know anybody.
Can I insight check?
Yes, you can.
Could I insight check? Insight. Could I check for insights?
You can check for insights. Your perception.
Yes! Halflings!
I
Halflings!
got 21.
Not very good, but still better than one.
Are you insect
11.
checking Toby for magic?
No, 10.
He's telling the truth in that he cannot cast a spell himself. It is a very high level spell that you need to cast to be able to do this. He's lying that he doesn't know somebody who could do it.
What do you want?
Listen, he is one of our dearest friends, and he just risked himself to save this city. Please tell us who can help.
And so we bring him back. He's a martyr. He's a savior of the city. He tries to overtake. I'm not foolish.
Will it be more of a martyr if he's dead, surely?
Yeah, and who will... There's no one to rally behind. The Fairmounds are well within our control. He was the only factor we needed gotten rid of. As far as I'm concerned, job well done.
Actually, you'll find that people are rallying behind someone.
He takes the piece of paper. Some child's drawings.
No child!
Someone who cannot spell.
Dyslexic 5-year-old.
Some blind infant. Some blind town idiot.
Can I at least roll a persuasion check on trying to get him to tell us?
Sure. Roll a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Can I please see the symbol of the rebellion?
9. I think she looks like someone people would rally behind.
My God is a God of law and justice. And as far as I can see, his suffering is justice for what he made the others suffer.
He has suffered. He has paid your punishment.
He has paid.
Please.
And raising him from the dead would negate that.
He is a better man. He has changed. He
I see no
loves the
evidence
city.
of that. He killed guards just days ago. His own civilians. Just doing their jobs.
Well, we didn't kill anyone, did we?
No, we were trying to
did.
He killed the guards in the...
I thought we avoided killing them.
Oh my God, I killed 11 with one spell.
Oh, right, during the breakout. Yeah, it was after that we stopped killing them.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I healed those guys though. A voice from beyond the grave. Somewhere a Ouija board moves.
I'll tell you where the rebellion is.
Come with me. And,
I'm just gonna start scooping this gold back in the bag, which is gonna look really nowhere near as cool as it did
I
when I
love
was
the
pouring it.
images of the guards standing there and you're like, excuse me, one of you could I just... Sorry.
Once I do that thing where it rolls ahead just quickly.
No.
me, sorry. If you find me.
Okay, although that would be amazing, Bree's a pro at this.
With one scoop.
He walks forward to the cathedral doors momentarily, addresses the crowd that's there. Tobias Fairmound, ex-lord of Summercrest, has indeed fallen, supposedly attempting to slay the dragon that it attacked last night, and yet there's no evidence of this. I have not even inspected yet whether he is indeed dead.
I kicked it into the pool.
We are. Yes, we did.
I didn't think about that. Oh well.
I am sending some men to investigate these claims, and I am also detaining those who killed some more of the guards as they broke. The one called Gritwald out of jail, and then stole a shipment of alcohol the night
Okay,
later.
but you don't know that was us.
I've heard that pinned on me.
Yeah, you just seem like the boozy type.
You have no proof that that was us.
Thief.
He continues addressing the crowd
So
while
I'm
you
just
say
going
this
to say,
behind
you
him.
should be saying allegedly right there.
He ignores you.
1 minute, please.
With my client.
We shall make our investigations and present our findings to the people this evening at service at 7 o'clock.
Allegedly.
And he closes the doors, and they're somewhat kind of squint on the frame, and kind of the point of impact, like there is kind of like a shattering kind of around, but
You
enough that
didn't,
they
you
can
didn't quite
close
close it. You should.
it. And he kind of turns around to you guys. He kind of gestures to guys and says, "Take some men, investigate if their story is true. Be back by nightfall."
The
And he says, "Follow me."
dragons in the lava pool in Slayer. I may have pushed it into the lava pool.
Oh, so
There'll be plenty of evidence of our fight, though,
so
and there will be blood and viscera everywhere. I'm sure.
And an unguarded rest of the dragon's horde.
That if the dragon lived, it would definitely not leave.
Or, just stick it in the lava.
Or just poke about in it. I'm sure it's not that deep.
Pop some swimming shorts on.
whilst
It's like a pile of
I
lava.
don't recommend that.
in again Ouija board some removes. Whilst this does seem somewhat unlikely that
It's like
the dragon's
suggested
gone.
to us.
Burnt.
Yeah.
Soup covered.
You had a fight with a dragon, you clearly lost. But if what you say is true,
Who walks away from a dragon fight if they lose?
if what you say is true,
Especially carrying a dead weight.
Walk.
then I shall enjoy retrieving the gold and my
I bet
men
you will.
unharmed. Come with me. And he begins to move forward into the main section of the church, which you guys were in previously. You remember walking forward and to the right in this, still in this main chamber where the rooms were. Huh?
I go invisible.
Oh wait.
Okay.
No, just one Mr. Ripple.
Do you want to do a sleight of
Who has
verbal,
me?
right?
What? I'm
Yeah,
carrying
trying
it.
to-
Which the problem is, as I was picturing you just now, probably your hands and your legs just dragging across the ground.
Do we have Sir Rampage with
That's
us?
true.
though?
I'll
He's
put him on
kind of
Rampage.
like wrapped up.
That's
So
right.
put him on Sir Rampage.
He's kind of wrapped up.
Yeah, that's true. He's all swaddled like a mummy.
Do you want to do a sleight of hand check? Because I mean, you've got like a bunch of guards and you know.
That was sure. 13.
Sorry, his foot touched you again? No.
And as he's striding off, a couple of guards see you starting to kind of motion and mutter under your breath, and they grab your hands and kind of hold them and say, "And what's the meaning of this?"
Just a prayer.
Keep your muttering some strange language to yourself.
It's French. Crazy dead language.
And they continue to move in towards the rooms where you were kept. Supposedly not in captivity, but where you were kept previously. You're escorted into a
Just biohazard science of the toilet house.
yeah. Further into the back, into a long, low ceiling, very, very, very dully lit, with a long ovular table in the middle of
The building.
Wow.
The building.
He kind of crudely gestures for you to sit down and says, "Lay the body before me." And kind of takes it back, kind of just looks at it. Okay, tell me more. The rebellion.
Maybe you said you couldn't bring him back. So why don't you fetch the person who can, and then I'll tell you more.
See if your information's good enough. I think I've got the bargaining chips here.
How do we know that there's even someone powerful enough to do that?
You don't.
Bring him
But as
back.
far as I can see it, it's kind of your only option.
Bring him back and I'll lead you to them. You can just kill him
Or-
again if there's no one there.
I burn down various parts of the city until I find the resistance. We'll find them eventually. And as far as our reports say, their whole purpose was waiting for Tobias to come back and rally behind him, so not looking too good these days.
At least prove that you can do it.
Prove that you slew the dragon.
Well, we'll wait till nightfall then. When you may get back.
That's fine by me.
Or we're just gonna wait 3 hours IRL.
Yep.
Because we're just going to be waiting in awkward silence in game,
Okay.
so.
Is there anything you guys want to do while you're waiting?
Just
Did I roll
Sorry,
another
over.
score check?
Yes.
Roll over, pray over.
With
twice.
advantage, remember.
With advantage, proficiency, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that one wasn't too good. That was on that 1. But with advantage, you're 7.
So, okay. You smolder, kind of average smolder.
It's been a while, we're starting to go down a bit.
Yeah.
I had some kindling.
What?
Sorry.
I just want to keep him warm.
And you sit there in kind of this awkward silence. Some of you sitting, some of you kind of standing, and Tobias's body just kind of laying on the cold hard slab of the table.
I just sit next to his body.
Say again?
I just sit next to his body.
Would any of my family have maybe been informed by the populace who had been announced to me?
Willis, maybe.
So you sit in silence. And this is around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it takes roughly about 3 hours to get there on foot. So you gather, even if they took courses, they're still going to be minimum 3 hours.
So
not
is what's his
longer.
name just standing there with us?
He's standing there.
Percy.
There's some guards in the room as well. Are they crispy ones?
Where?
Are they crispies?
Just normal chocolate ones.
So he's looking at Sir Tobias' body. Is he crispy?
It's just silence.
Okay.
Well, have you at least told his family? Someone should tell his family.
I'm praying over his body though.
As I'm sure you're aware, most of his family are at Skybreaker's Keep.
Willis, isn't it?
Well, this is somewhat indisposed at the moment.
Well, don't you think someone should tell him that his brother's dead?
We'll pass on the message.
No one seems to be.
Can I short rest?
Sure.
Oh, I suppose, yeah, I should probably do that.
Gritval, do you get back to the
Can the sound of my smouldering count as sort of rest?
No.
I don't think the sound of you smouldering is going to put any of us to
It's
rest.
like, you know what? It's actually quite sick.
I'll be quiet, uncomfortable with that.
It's upsetting.
Like a nice candle.
Yeah. It's like reminds me of home.
You get back to the pantry. Go into the basement. And it's kind of cold and empty, and there's no one there. Just a torch on the wall, lit from when you left. No,
When we were there, because the pantry's just below an inn, is it not? Like,
correct? Yeah.
were we okay just to stay in the inn part?
You stayed in the room below.
Was there rebellion?
No, I don't mean like sleeping. I mean,
Was there rebellion?
did we go up there and eat like to eat? And
You did.
stay in the pantry for the entire time.
You did go up into the inn, especially after you'd done your merchant's quest, because the merchants. This is particularly the merchants' district, and also kind of their haunt. So they were no longer likely to snitch on you.
I will sit in silence.
Okay, you can take a short rest.
Can that count as a short rest?
Yeah. Do you want to do this? How long do you want to do this? The full 4 hours until something happens with them?
Yeah, I'm like, there's nothing I can do, like even tinkering wise, like
Yeah.
adding tools to it. So
Yeah. Your invisibility wears off.
I'll just rest.
Okay. Yeah. You have a short rest. About 4.5 hours later, you hear a commotion outside. The doors to the cathedral you can hear in the distance creak open.
Scrape on the ground.
And then close again with a thud. You hear the kind of the faint footsteps as they get louder. Yeah, I know. I don't know how to do. Until
Hello?
there's a knock at the door, and you say hello, and the minister person just says, enter, and sort of a red-faced guard kind of enters and says, sir, we could not find the body of the dragon, but we were able to loot as much gold as trinkets as we could carry and what horses we had, and we weren't attacked. But yeah, perhaps a more thorough investigation might reveal more. But I mean, he's certainly not at home. Let's put it this way.
I think it was a lady dragon, actually.
We're just
Yes.
killing off the cast of Shrek.
And he
Two ogres, a lady dragon.
Oh yeah, we didn't see a donkey in there anywhere, did we?
So Rampage is dangerously close to dying.
who do you think the evil villain is? God, it's Eddie Murphy.
IRL, man.
Yeah.
He's the final boss of life. Oh no, no, that's in my head.
The 5 heads of
No,
Eddie
see,
Murphy.
I'm just picturing all of the 5 heads being Mushu from Mulan.
Oh, no, wait, Mushu Donkey. The guy from Rush Hour.
Norbert.
Norbert, yeah.
The guy from Trading Places.
Yeah, there you go.
Or when he's poor, pretending to be blind.
Very specific, but I like it.
The guard kind of like closes the door and exits, not really answering your lady comment. And person kind of looks at you all and goes, okay. So, the dragon might be dead.
Okay, what live dragon would let your soldiers take that much gold from its lair?
One that's not in its lair.
I mean,
And
they
what dragon is
they
it?
keep
Gold
those
or-
hoards for a reason.
Yeah.
During the day, you've only seen it coming out at night, right? That's all you've ever told us before.
I don't know the inner workings of a dragon's mind.
You don't seem to know much, do you?
Oh, apparently I know enough to save your friend here, isn't that right?
Well, do you? I'm starting to doubt that.
I mean, you can go elsewhere.
How many people are in this room?
There's 2 guards at the far end of the room, 2 at the door you entered, and him.
How big's the room?
Maybe 40 foot across, longer.
Like squared. 40 by 40.
Yeah, it's more obvious the room is
Oh, I
an
see,
oval as
yeah.
well, but yeah. So, there is someone, one of the other members of our order, does know the, it's definitely powerful enough to do the spell, but whether she decides to whether they decide, it seems simple with his words, whether they decide to,
Yeah, you have to be careful these
Yeah.
days. You really do.
It's difficult
Can't
to remember
just assume.
sometimes.
You get fined for that.
Yeah, exactly.
whether they decide to do it, that's up to them. But
This has been demonetized on YouTube.
Yeah.
damn it! Right, let's re-record the whole session.
Whether Zay decides.
So the party journey to Summercrest. Please don't make a mess of my character.
I don't know.
Clean off the chocolate stain when it melts.
Stuck in feet, stand up. Take it away in my mouth. Oh,
Where,
there
you were
where your ass?
What then? It's warm.
You seemed perceptive earlier. They're here. They're in the city. They can do it. I will send them a message and let them know that you wish to some proof. But whether they come, that is not up to me. That's up to them. They
Well, then why don't you just put us in contact with them directly?
That's not how they work. And if the proof of either whether you believe me or whether they send some proof that you accept, we'll want to hear the whereabouts of the rebels before we do.
By the way, just I'll game for a second to DM.
Yeah.
Were they in? Was the rebellion based in the pantry?
That's where they were having their meetings. You knew that
Right.
Carlisle had told you that there were some members from kind of different factions throughout the city that kind of attended, kind of like a council of sorts. But then there were contacts that they had throughout the city who were kind of sympathetic to the cause, but didn't necessarily like turn up to all the kind of gatherings. These were kind of, this is where had their meetings, and then the information was kind of spread through the city through them, as opposed to everybody in it kind of gathered in one place. So it would have been a bit
Right. So it's
suspicious.
not like they have like regular meetings. That's like weekly. They have the same time.
You didn't find out if they had kind of.
We hadn't been there that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
you'd be there 2 days. They didn't
Okay.
necessarily didn't mention
Fine.
any. You didn't investigate, but
Okay. So where are we at right now? Is he going to get someone?
he's sent off a message for some kind of proof.
Okay,
from
cool.
them.
Let's just wait again then.
Um,
Meanwhile, Mr. Crippled is aging and his disease
Yeah.
is spreading rapidly.
I'm on trial for murder. Then I've had the bloody theft pinned on me, and then Trent's going to lead them to the heart of the rebellion. And it's just going to be me sat in a fucking pantry.
I thought there was more of it. Sorry.
I am the rebellion.
I am.
Knowing Cripple's luck, they probably pinned that on him though.
Yeah.
Single-handedly.
Sure, you'll do
Well,
it.
then, they're pinning it on me, and then when the final nail in the coffin comes from Trent saying, "Oh, here's your rebellion."
Kick open
And
the
point,
door.
and then
It's just Mr. Crippled there, twiddling his thumbs like,
Oh, there you go.
hi guys!
Oh, ooh.
Do Do you know the cure to my horrible crippling disease? Are we going to the hospital now?
What's the name of hospital?
Why?
In the sky.
Why are you handcuffing
Oh, I
me?
just suddenly got senile.
It has been a long time, to be fair.
You're telling them the disease.
Take me outside and shoot me in the back of the head.
Hey, it's a cure.
I can see the rabbits, George. I can see them.
You wait for perhaps another 35 minutes, 40 minutes before an unnatural silence goes through the room.
Before.
And Percy kind of looks about and says, I shall take my leave. And exits the room, motioning to the two guards.
4 guards or 2 guards?
Sorry, to the two guards on either end of the room. And they exit until it's just you left alone in the room. Wait, and the lights dim, and from the ceiling, you can look up, and this kind of darkness that starts to descend. Just kind of the light that was kind of the fading light of the sun. Just kind of, it's almost like blinds going down. It's just like a darkness which goes down through the room, and from the center it kind of stops. And from the center of this, you just see a leg, 2 legs, 3 legs, 4 legs, 8 legs of this monstrous spider which descends from the ceiling.
Ah! Alright.
Oh. It's fucking Tikka Kasala.
Tikka masala.
Yes.
And it just hangs there. This large, monstrous spider.
Are you part of the order?
Is it doing anything?
Just appears to be observing.
What size is it?
We're talking 10 feet
Oh god.
kind of body, and then its legs.
Whoa,
Yeah,
okay.
we're approaching like 20 feet, like long if you were to
It's-
stretch.
Can you bring him back?
I'm just gonna look down. And then it just rises. Up.
That's fucking weird. Is that the pest problem
Back
in this cathedral?
Back into the darkness. And the darkness rises.
We'll do anything.
And
Did
then
you
you
speak with animals? What did it say?
can hear
Takes 10 minutes.
you can hear things again. Suddenly realise how silent it was. And then the guards re-enter the room with Perseum. It says, is that proof enough of power?
No.
Not really, no. It's kind of like
So
an
you
empty
summon
dragon
a giant
sword. No.
spider, that doesn't mean you can raise the dead.
What
Right.
was
It
that?
wasn't even human.
That was
Keith. He's our janitor.
physically.
A bit weird.
We've seen him with flies.
That was a summon from the from a realm that is not here. That creature takes a great more deal of power than I or any of the other ministers here might wield.
How does summoning spiders equate to raising the dead?
You wanted a proof of power that there was somebody here strong enough, capable to do it.
Could have just
I
been a
said
good
it's-
illusion.
What does your gut say?
What does my
What
god
does
say?
my gut say? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Can I
I don't know
insight
much
check?
about magic,
You can
but I know that
insight.
summoning spiders is very different from.
Someone can do an Arcana or a Nature check
That
to
would
see
be a
what
6.
Okay.
Actually, not with an insight check.
Okay.
I'm good with Arcana.
Oh yeah. Do you want to roll a smoothie check? Hex. Do you want to roll an insight check and do you want to roll an Arcana check?
Oh, it's the same as I rolled. The halfling's 5.
Yeah, it's a 6 on me as well.
12.
Definitely seems to be telling the truth. It was something great monstrosity another plane, definitely someone powerful enough to do it. Proof enough that there's somebody capable of doing it. You're not really sure of what kind of magic this was, what school of magic it was. The only thing you can really get is that this doesn't exist in the natural realm, and that it would have had to have come from another plane than this, and that summoning rituals of this sorts and of that size to control a beast that size would have taken some power, but you can't really tell much more than that.
That's me crackling.
Fine, that's all we've got.
Okay. I'll have to arrange a meeting with the rebellion. But there's an inn called the Pantry. They meet there sometimes. They won't be there now. If you go there now, you'll just scare them off. I can arrange a meeting and leave a sign for you.
Is that it? Who leads the rebellion?
She's called Carlia. She's called Gritfall. She is called. She's called Carlia.
And who else is involved in this? Who were the ships that helped you? Who did they belong to?
They belonged to some merchants.
It was Domna, the
Oh yes,
bartender.
Donuts.
He
Yes.
represents the traders.
Done now. At least that's one piece of new information. Okay.
We'll leave a sign at the inn on the night they're going to meet. But you have to promise to bring him back and let him walk safely.
Still not my decision. It's somebody else's, but they could be satisfied with that. I'll leave you here. They'll decide when to come.
Wait, are we waiting here?
But I
I'm
thought
gonna
we
go
had to go and arrange a meeting.
Okay. Go arrange your meeting. I'm going to go speak to Dumna.
No,
And
that's
if
what-
you
that's-
do that, then they're not going to meet. They'll know
That's-
that someone's betrayed
yeah, you're
them.
not going to get your meeting. We have to speak to Domna to arrange the meeting.
You can either take the information we've given you and raise him now, or you can wait for us to gather the rest of them, get them all at once,
Do you
and then
want-
raise him.
Yeah, do you want the small piece of the apple pie or do you want the whole apple pie?
I hate apple pie.
You've not had the right apples. I'm telling you. Let us speak to Domna, let us arrange a meeting.
Okay.
And you can get everyone at once.
How about your way? But the body stays here.
Okay. Don't touch it unless you bring him back.
It looks like he's being peed on.
You're crazy. No one would do that. Right? You're so small.
Okay. He gestures towards the door.
I just go over to Lord Tobias, his body, and just put down the symbol that he gave me. And I put down the key on his chest.
The key.
Yeah. I don't put down the key. Okay. I don't put down the key. What I meant to say was, I do not put down the key because that was a stupid decision.
Why was that? Okay.
Okay, I don't put down the key. And I put down the crest, and I just say, I'm sorry, I have to leave you alone. But we're gonna get you back. I know it's cold and dark here, but we'll be back. I just put that down with some like really bad cider next to it as well, but not the key. And then we. Hello.
My
meant
God,
to
who's
say-
intruding? It's my sister. Sorry, I forgot to say. Sister and her friend. Hey,
Oh,
drunk.
he's blonde now.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hi.
You drunk?
Oh,
You drunk? You drunk?
no,
How's your food?
it's really good.
Yeah.
She got chicken and it was the driest thing ever.
Oh,
And she
really?
was like, she ended up telling the guy, she was like,
I cried the
I'm
whole
sorry, but like the chicken's like super dry. And he was like, no problem, we'll get you some more chicken. She was like, I didn't want more chicken. They came and she was like, oh, that chicken's amazing.
Okay, yeah. That would be the first time we've had a bad review, even though parents liked it, which,
Oh wow.
yeah, exactly. And they had chicken, so.
Hi,
Oh,
Daya.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hello.
Where was this?
Barrel House?
Skilled oil.
Yeah.
You can either chill in my room, or if you're gonna chill in here, then you have to.
If you
Or
guys
just-
don't mind an audience.
Or just listening to some choral monastic music.
I thought it was you singing.
Oh no, I thought it was you.
There's a chair in Katrina's room, and then one of you will have to sit on the floor.
This is a real laugh per second
You can-
episode.
You can get to. Yeah, I've already told them. You can grab. It's about to get to give it though.
I've
You
got
can,
my chair here.
oh yeah, there's a chair there, and there's a chair in Katrina's room. But yeah, if you just want to.
Do you want to share?
I'll leave the key. I think.
Well, now,
maybe I should leave the
He's
key.
gonna go up to
That's just
Toby's
me.
body and just sort of just whisper to him, I'm sorry, I didn't listen to you last night when you were trying to talk to me about your problems.
And you exit.
Yeah, before I go, just one more time. You know, I just push Bree to the floor. No, I just go over and just say, I'm sorry, and then leave.
You exit the room. There's just one guard who stays in the room, and you make your way back to the pantry.
To Mr. Cripfold.
Yeah.
And no one's following us from the cathedral, they just let us go.
Seems so.
Okay. So we go into the pantry.
Yeah, no, before we go on, I'm just like, we're gonna have to give them the rebellion.
Yeah.
Okay. He wants to talk to Domna.
I guess I'll do it.
Okay.
But
I'll
we
go
need
down
a,
to
we need a
Mr.
story to tell him.
Tell him. Got some news. You're better at coming up with that sort of thing than I am.
Are we telling him just now, or are we getting
Okay.
him to arrange a meeting?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry,
Just now.
just to arrange the meeting.
Are you having this conversation back in with Gritwald?
No, just before
briefly
we go in.
before we go in, and then I'm just gonna go in and see Mr.
Okay,
Gritvold.
I'll tell him something.
I relay all the information to Mr. Gritvold.
Quietly.
Oh my god! And then this guy turned
So wait, you're standing outside the inn, not
No,
going
no, I go
downstairs?
down.
Then went in.
Yeah, no,
It was
we're
just
outside the
through-
inn, whispering this to each other,
Okay.
and then I've gone in and told everything to Mr. Gritvold.
But I thought you said meant like you're gonna tell him to organise a rebellion and not tell me and just leave me in there. I still get caught.
Yeah, we fucked
That's
up again.
rude.
Just 5 days later, Mr. Gritvold's just there like, where are they?
Doesn't want to check in.
He's just quite happy.
Alright, so
Traveling
we're gonna
back.
go in and I'm gonna go up to speak to Dumna if he's there behind the bar.
Okay. So you go down, you speak to Gritwald.
Yep.
You then come back up.
No, I'm just gonna stay with Mr.
You're
Gritvold.
gonna stay down there. But the two of you, Bree and Hex, you go into the tavern together.
I just hug Mr. Gritvold really awkwardly. Like, I'm not awkward, but I'm sure he would be.
And
Such
you
bad arms.
go speak to Dumna, and
I kneel down and actually
Okay.
hug you, not expect to hug in my leg.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think we're gonna have to sell out the rebellion to get Lord Tobias back.
and
You mean, would that be a price that Tobias would want you to make? Like, sorry, no. Is that a trade Tobias would want you to make? because he seemed to throw his lot with the rebellion in hopes of freeing the city from these people. I wasn't as close to Tobias as you were, and you know better. But you need to ask yourself: is that something Tobias would want? You're selling out. It's not his rebellion, but he obviously wanted to be a part of it. And if would he want you to sell them out to bring him back?
Lord Tobias isn't here.
I know he's not here. But think of it, if this was your... Oh.
Yeah,
If this was
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, Mr. Gritwold.
If this was your group,
I know what you mean, Mr. Gritwold.
would you want us to sell out your group to bring you back?
Let me ask you this, Mr. Gritwold. If Rosie died, would there be anything that you wouldn't do to bring her back?
I would obliterate everyone and sell everyone out. But that's me.
I know.
That's just what Gritwold does anyway.
I really can't.
I know, Mr.
So
Gritwold.
I haven't got an idea of what to do.
This.
You knew Tobias.
If I was stronger, Mr. Gritwold, I could do this. If I had apologized to him, he wouldn't have been so reckless. I have to bring him back. It doesn't matter about the cost.
If you believe that's right, I'm just trying to give you two sides to the argument. I'm not telling you what to do.
I know, Mr.
If you feel this is right, by all means. But I'll tell you one thing.
None of this is right.
There is no way this prick is getting his hands on me.
No, I know. I wanted to get Hex to come and warn you, but we got caught. I would never give you over.
I want the rebellion to go through for the simple reason that I do not like these fanatics that seem to be controlling the city.
I don't like
and with what you said to me, it sounds like more that they want this position for power rather than to be helpful to the city.
I know.
They do not. They are not good people.
No, they are not.
And if they are removed,
I know.
Better for it.
I know, Mr. Gritwold. I agree, but this is what we're doing for now.
Has someone spoken to Kyla about this?
Carla, I know, not yet.
Kyla, sorry. I don't know how to pronounce it. But she needs to be brought into the fold.
She will be.
For any... I don't like using the term selling out. It makes us sound bad. But we are doing this for...
I know. No, I know what you're saying. You're speaking the truth.
But I would say you need to at least bring her into the fold before any other decision is made.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I haven't seen her since I got back. She doesn't even know Tobias' past.
I know. We're trying to arrange a meeting soon. We can tell
You should go back upstairs.
Okay, I'm gonna go back upstairs.
You don't go up with him, Gritwold? You're safe in there. You already know that.
Alright, yeah, I'll go then.
Okay, so the four of you are now upstairs. You've gone to the barkeep, done that. He comes out from behind the back. It's a fairly quiet day. Most people are still kind of out and about in town, kind of whispering and speaking and stuff like that. But there's some people about, and he comes behind and well, it's my friends. How are we doing?
Change his voice every time.
Hey, none of that.
I was thinking it was a really bad accent.
Okay. So, you know that dragon that was attacking last night? Well, we just went and killed it. Yeah, Toby led the charge. He was very heroic, and now we've got all of this gold, we've got the hoard. Tobias wants to call a meeting so we can decide what steps to take next, how to use this to our advantage.
Roll a deception check.
Yeah, no.
Ooh. 28.
Whoa, okay. So,
Oh my god.
so goes, I mean, word about the town is probably declared dead, but, I mean, if that's what he wants, then presumably...
Probably they're pretending that he died so that when he reappears to the public as a hero dragon slayer, it'll make more of an impact.
Oh.
And it'll mean that the guards will be looking for him so he can make his way around town easier.
This makes... You guys are... give you more credit than you perhaps deserve. Okay. So, yeah, when are we having this meeting?
Well, I think as soon as possible.
Okay.
How soon do you think it would take to gather everyone here?
A couple hours?
A couple hours, yeah, that'd be good. We could do that.
Cool. Couple hours it
Do
is.
can you get the word out then?
Yeah.
And we'll be meeting downstairs, yeah.
He kind of calls some people over from the far side of the room. People that you've been there a couple days now. You've seen them. You've spoken to them. You've had a drink with them. He calls them over. He says, "Have a meeting." And they kind of nod. And kind of they leave. You kind of hear kind of a neigh of horses, and you kind of hear galloping off into the distance. And now the four of you.
Okay, so let's
Upstairs.
go into a corner where we can't be overheard.
Go back down to the basement.
Yeah, you head back.
Yeah.
There's no one else down there.
Okay. So
Should
you
we
begin.
wait for Trent to get back?
You begin to make your way down into the basement. We'll wait for Trent to get back. Yeah.
Great roll.
What, sorry? Sorry. Once we're in the thing, I just had a sudden thought. When you were on your way back, did you make sure you weren't followed?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I asked if we were being followed and you said no. I mean, I didn't roll for it, but...
Correct.
Oh. Because it's...
Well, I mean, even if we were followed, we've already told them where
Yeah,
we were
exactly.
going.
If Trent's already told
I
you,
know, but
you know.
yeah, it's
They
still... I don't know, I just got some dread feeling.
Well, I mean,
Oh, okay.
we're supposed to be drawing them here. That's why we did this.
That's what we'll be watching.
So, we should try and get the word to them anyway. If everyone's going to be meeting you in 2 hours.
We should have shown them more. I don't know, just to be like ready.
Well, they can get everyone. They can get people here at least to show that we were being truthful, even if they don't manage to arrest everyone.
Okay. We'll wait for Trent for this next bit. This next particular bit, I'm not going to be rude, but in this next particular section,
We need to know this.
yeah, because I'll be
Sorry.
concentrating a bit. No, you're fine.
It's fair.
Yeah, I know it. Okay. So,
We have arranged a meeting. Everyone's going to be gathering in about 2 hours or so, and then we're back down in the basement discussing what we're going to do next.
and you began your way back out to the basement.
Mhm.
You began your way. Tobias.
Hi.
No.
You, your vision fades. You don't remember.
Just now.
You don't remember it fading,
We talked about it so much.
I see everything.
and
My failure is so pure.
as you kind of, you're very dizzy and disoriented, and you can't quite focus on things, but you start hearing the words of your friends around you, sobs of their tears. What sounds like the clinking of gold.
I try and shout out for Trent.
You
What?
shout and you find that you can't, no noise is coming forth. You hear a neigh of a horse. You,
Nay, I say.
a couple hours of relative silence goes by and you begin to hear some more talking. Some more hours of silence. Some talking. This dread, for maybe only a minute or two, kind of sinks across your whole body, kind of like pins and needles. Which is bizarre because you can't really feel what would be your body. And then it's just silence again. You feel it kind of falling. This dizziness and disorientation kind of continues until you find yourself in a large stone room. Large mirrors covering most of one wall, a tall, towering ceiling. A table that looks like it's been set for a feast, but it has no food. At the top of the table, there is a singular chalice. There's a fireplace glowing, but no sign. A chandelier gleaming. A long red rug adorns most of the floor.
Fred? Free? The other two?
Your voice echoes through this large, seemingly empty chamber.
Heckful?
Walk over to the table.
As you take your first step, you hear the faintest sound of laughter, talking voices, clapping, music and merriment. And you kind of stop for a second and kind of look around and abruptly fade. As you take more steps towards the table, you see the faint outlines of figures, people all around. The table before you that was set but contained nothing now seems bountiful and great. Food overflowing, wine, merriment to be had. Some dogs at the end of the table are fighting over a bone, and as you step right up to the table, one of these shimmering kind of outlines comes into focus, corporealness at the top. And drinking casually from the chalice, the form of Brother Kathos nods to you. And he gestures to a chair somewhat closer to him.
I sit down. Sorry for trying to punch you the last time we met.
Tobias, you have failed. You have failed your friends, your people, your family. I'm the god of change, and yet you have not changed for many moons. Everywhere you have gone, you have hurt those who love you. The blood of many men, women, and children stains your hands. You get this warm sensation in your hands, and you kind of look down, and you see them just dripping this red liquid. But you kind of jolt up. Your hands no longer warm, seemingly clean again. I still sense within you a great destiny, full of promise, of either great life or bringer of death. You can change yourself and others still. Your road can still go on. What do you have to say?
Are the others safe?
For now. But they walk a dangerous road with forces they do not understand.
Can I help them?
That choice is up to you.
If I can help, then I will.
I have two conditions. The first is that you will continue to serve my will, as you have been unwittingly doing. You shall live an exciting life, a challenging life, but you will never experience what it is to settle down and live one ordinary day. You will be at the center of change. And when you fade from the mortal realm, You will join me here in my home, the pyramid of many things. With great kings, he kind of gestures around to these people who can fade slightly more into view. Destroyers of lands, sorcerers of great and licks of evil. All great people who effected change in the world. And you will serve me here until your debt has been repaid. This is your first condition. Do you accept?
So, I bind myself to you for all eternity.
Essentially, until your debt has been repaid. Until
And is there a timestamp on that?
What's the intro?
I mean, what would you expect of me?
you'll serve me as I see fit, whenever I see fit, however I see fit. There are many things that need done in the pyramid of many things.
On the condition that you never ask me to hurt my friends, I accept.
I accept. Condition 2. I will ask only this. You must observe the consequences of every action you have taken in your life,
That's gonna hurt.
so that you might see what change, choices, challenges you have run away from, so that you will see what impact that they have had, the impact that change can have, the change that can come about due to challenges. You must understand why I am necessary, and why you must not run away as you have done. Do you accept?
I was prepared to look upon the tragedies I caused from the second I heard about them. I accept so that I can see how to make things right again.
Then go forth. Do what you see fit, but never run from a challenge again. Or you will join me here sooner than you think. And as he kind of waves his hand, he kind of fades from existence. The walls fade. Noise ceases to be. The table fades until it is only you sitting in your seat. The cold stone pressing into you, a sharp reminder that you still exist. A vision floats before you. A baby being born. A mother crying, a father weeping with joy. 2 older children are in the background. You hear the faint voice. You should be called Tobias. Your vision is obscured, and you see yourself as a small child skipping and jumping along the castle walls. Your mother scolding you from the garden below. Your foot scuffing a large rock, almost sending you off the edge of the castle walls. Your mother screams. You begin to cry and curl up in a ball until one of your father's guards comes and gets you. Your vision focuses on the large rock you tripped on, and you see it fall and tumble down the edge of the castle, faster and faster until it lands on a bird's nest, crushing small white oval eggs, speckled, now liquid in the twigs of the nest, no mother in sight. Your vision fades again, and this time you're older, a teenager. You see Carlia, the slightly older girl you've had a crush on for a while, playing her songs, skipping around the room, and winking at you. Your mother laughs despite the disapproving look from your father, as you blush and fumble in a half bow, half curtsy, not knowing how to respond to this attention.
That's filthy.
You see random parts of your life, from the smallest rock to the biggest fight, the crying of your family, the laughter, the joy, the sadness. You see a choice and an effect. A choice you make and some unseen effect. A memory you recognize and an effect you do not. You see every time you chose to run away from a debt, and then that child that went hungry. that suffered and starved. The descent of Summercrest from a prosperous, free city to what it is now. You see the faces of the Brotherhood, of Pasha Othine and his wife Jasmal, their 2 sons, Ardit and Hassid, the daughter Sido. You see them pitched together in a fight, in an argument of sorts. The Brotherhood and the Pasha in this bizarre memory and yet unmemory. Some signifying of the fight, the civil unrest in Kalimshan. And you walk away until the forest of Myrrh comes into sight. You see this somewhat memory, and your vision fades again. Until you see a mass of robed figures around a number of standing stones. The moon is full. You do not recognize this scene. Moonlight shines across the standing stones, and you see a slight shimmering in the air as a portal of sorts begins to open in the space between the stones. A purple-green landscape behind it. When you recognize the Feywild. The robed figures move into the portal, and your vision fades into an image of a great sprawling city by the coast, with the largest port you have ever seen, ships glittering on the water. And you see flames begin to rise from the city, and a great army approaching from the desert. You hear screaming, crying, and your vision fades. And your vision fades. As you go to enter the basement, you open the door, and instead of the room, the light is out. It is dark. It's a long, dark corridor. And as you move in, you hear the door close behind you.
This wasn't like this last time.
X.
I'm gonna pull out my lantern.
You see around you walls
Basement isn't there.
next to you. It's only about 5 foot wide, this corridor, and the walls are covered in a thick, oily black substance.
Oh no, not this again, not this again, not this again.
This is what we got covered.
And you see all along the walls are a number of mirrors.
It's the pyramid again, we're back in the pyramid. Why is
listen to
this
the key.
happening?
I get the
Listen to us
key.
now. Would you stop listening to the key? I'm gonna turn
We're
around
in
and
the
see if
pyramid
the door
this
is
time.
still there.
The door's not there.
We're in the pyramid, I think.
The key didn't even speak to you in the pyramid.
This might help us.
Help us with what? We need to get out of here and get
God.
word to the...
You're right this time. But think about this. If we're in the pyramid, Carathis might help us with Lord Tobias. Mr. Grimble, we're in the pyramid!
Yes.
I just run forward.
Okay.
Okay, so... But
As you run forward, you get about 15 feet or so before it just goes black again.
wait, do we need to be holding my lantern to see anything?
What can you
Okay, so everyone hold on to me so you can see.
As you move forward as a group,
Okay, we have to go through one of the mirrors. Remember how this works?
Okay.
I hold around there as well.
you see a number of these mirrors. But this time, instead of the room that was kind of adorning you, this is just a corridor of mirrors. And as you look into the mirrors, you can see a number of symbols above, strange symbols in a language you do not understand.
Gritball, do you know what this says?
Do I recognise it?
Nope,
Do I recognize it?
nope,
I speak halfling.
nope.
I speak halfling.
Oh my god.
In the mirrors,
He's a dragon, right?
in the mirrors, you can see faces. People.
They look angry.
Getting Anastasia vibes.
Ooh,
You see faces in the mirrors. Confused people. Just one in each of the mirrors. But in each of the mirrors, you see a scene. The same scene played out. A figure standing in the center of a circle of mirrors. Looking around, confused, a lantern in their hands. Sticking their hands backwards into mirrors.
Is it me?
It's not you. Lots of different people.
What a
What an
dickhead.
adventure.
Oh wait, so if we look into a mirror, can we reach back and touch the mirror behind?
Attempt to do it appears to just be mirrors.
In front of just the other mirrors as well.
Let's just keep going, I think.
But no, clearly we have to do something.
Oh,
with
do
the
we have to do
mirrors.
something? Do we have... Is there nothing ahead?
Well, if you
Keep
keep
going
going
ahead.
ahead, it just all goes black again.
Okay, we keep
It
going.
only went black
With the
because he
light-
went
exactly.
outside of
Yeah,
your...
you've got your torch.
Oh, right, okay.
So let's
Then,
go.
yeah, okay,
Let's just
let's
proceed
keep
as
going
soon as-
forward.
You keep going and you see the same scene repeated throughout. You see similar scenes that Tobias described that he'd woken up in. Rooms filled with water, swirling sinkholes. Huts, circular. People running across, angry. Until you get to the end of the corridor. You see a large door with a keyhole.
I told you it was useful!
Use it.
Does anyone have a key?
Well, no, obviously use yours.
Wait, first of all. Put the key in.
Put the key in.
Does it fit?
It fits.
It fits! I open it.
You open it. And inside,
I mean, I can
I'll keep
pick
the key if I
locks,
can.
But...
there is a flash of white light,
Sorry?
and you're now in a room. Wet, dripping walls, grey stone, moist, bits of moss on the wall.
Oil dice.
Yes.
Wait, we're back in the hag's hut.
You can hear a plip-plop in the background, both far away and right next to you at the same time. It looks like there are bars in the window, but the window has been blocked up. You hear horses outside, echoing. You hear carriages. You hear a cheer from a nearby tavern. And at the center of the room, where you initially woke up, instead of a circle of bodies, you see Toby. Lying seemingly
Let's spread
peaceful
over.
on a bed of silk.
I dive on him.
You dive on him.
And hug him. Oh, Tobias!
The device is seemingly asleep.
Is he alive?
Is he
Is he
alive?
breathing?
I medicine checked. That is okay. That's okay. Oh, 22 is way better than I thought.
Okay.
I misread the thing.
He's alive, but as you inspect his body, you see a large red welt of a scar scoring his left cheek and running down his neck, his arms, his ribs into his hips.
Wait, is he wearing clothes?
Yeah, wait, is he wearing... Is he... He's not wearing gloves.
Oh.
Wearing-
You just died.
I'm just dying. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm covering with some clothes in my pack.
The kind of scar almost resembles the flame of a great dragon. The mark of both his downfall
You Prince Zuko!
and his savior. You...
Does it cover my Kairathas tattoo?
Okay, sure.
Does it cover
Yeah,
his
but we want to know.
That's not how this game works. Nope, still there.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember what we did? Do I solve the
We
key?
got a key and we opened the door.
Okay, I opened the door.
You look behind you and it's no longer a door.
The one that was usually there when we started.
Yeah, it's no longer a door.
What is it?
It's a mirror.
Okay. You're
What
up.
did we do?
What did we do last
I
time? We
look
tried.
into the mirror and see if there's a door behind me.
There is.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick up Toby.
I'll pick up something.
I try and open the door by reaching behind me and
Fully
looking
grown
in the
man,
mirror.
okay. You're very strong.
A shimmering
Carry
doorway
me
opens up.
Okay, we can go through the
Carry
door
Mr.
this way. You have to look in the mirror when you go through the door. and I'm gonna
Okay.
slip backwards through the
Okay.
door.
Right, we both flick backwards to the door.
As you each go through the door, there's this sudden, cold, stinging sensation across your entire body. It seems to last for eternity, and yet, suddenly, it's over. And you're in the basement. All of you. But this time, the body of Tobias. This time clothed in his armor. His eyes fluttering awake.
Toby!
Toby! Lord Tobias!
Sorry if I let you down back there.
It's hugging. Hugging. A lot.
Halfling pylon.
Yeah. It's like a full person pylon. One
Yeah.
person.
You have two
Confused by
halflings on
what's
top of
going
you.
on, so I just sort of hugged them.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm
Forgive me.
sorry. I'm sorry. I
so
didn't
sorry.
listen to you.
Sorry,
I
I
was being
shouldn't
mean to you.
forgive
I
you.
wasn't listening to
I'm
you when you were
sorry.
talking about your problems. I
I'm
should have
so
been there as a
sorry.
friend
I
for
didn't
you.
forgive you.
What
I'm
happened?
so
What
sorry.
happened? What happened while I was gone?
Do you remember the dragon?
I remember a dragon.
Yeah, so I tried to get on it with you and
Uh-huh.
heal you, but then it jumped into the fire lava, the pile of lava, and then you died, and you were burnt, and then I didn't die because a hex saved me, and then we took you and we tried to find Willis, but it
Oh, and
said,
I killed the dragon, by the way.
but we
Oh,
couldn't.
yeah.
It was really awesome. And then Mr. Gripvold kept our heads cool, and we didn't, eat you. And then
Wait, what?
Oh, it's not great.
It's
That
fine.
was oddly specific.
No,
Chad.
it's fine. And then we tried to find Willis, but we couldn't find him. The really creepy guy we met the other day wouldn't let us see Willis. I think Willis might be in trouble or something. And then we tried to make a deal to save you, but the deal was that we'd sell out the rebellion to save you. And
There's a meeting happening
we-
right now.
Well, we kind of did that.
yeah, there's a meeting in 2 hours' time, and we said we'd leave a sign for the order.
We haven't left the sign yet.
No,
No, but they do know that it would
Probably
be
be
here.
they're going to be watching.
so we probably need to call off the meeting.
No.
Or
Just get ready.
no,
Go
because
ahead.
I'm sorry I called it. I was just.
I'm
well,
interested in this.
there was no point having a rebellion with you dead.
No. Well, I'm not dead.
Well,
Does he still have the?
I'm sorry, I wasn't strong enough to revive you. I can't do that. Until
It's fine. I can teach you.
what, to raise the dead?
Yeah.
You know how to do that?
Oh yeah.
well, that sucks.
Does it still have the mark on it?
Yeah.
Are you okay? How do you feel? What happened?
What?
Does this hurt?
Ah, Jesus!
So yes.
What?
Yes.
What's happening? What's going on?
You've got like a big scar.
I mean, is it noticeable?
It's quite noticeable.
Yeah, but it's really
But you
manly.
still look-
Carlia's
you-
gonna love
You
it.
look super handsome. It makes you look what's the word?
Rugged.
Rugged.
Oh.
Rugby. Rugged. Someone else talk.
Roguish.
Thank you.
Ah.
It's the right of your body.
Oh shit.
Mr.
The
Gripvold,
whole-
tell him he looks handsome. That means you look handsome in Mr. Gripvold language.
Do I look worse than Dripfeld?
Oh,
It's
no,
impossible,
no,
come
no.
on.
You look much better than him or Hex. Don't worry.
It's
Sorry, I'm
really
sorry.
manly, the whole effect. The
Okay.
scar.
Okay,
It shows that you battled a dragon.
good. Sure.
Wait, so what happened? Did you remember anything?
Can I ask why did Kyrathis
Yeah, Carathis brought you back.
bring you back?
Who cares? He's back.
Yeah,
No, no,
just to make was it Kyrathis?
The dish well.
You were dead.
They brought you back. Do you remember anything?
I don't remember anything.
Well,
we were back-
of
we were
course,
just back in the
Kyrathis, we're
Oh,
the
we just brought
chosen
you back
ones,
from
so
the
of course he
pyramids.
brought Toby back because he really likes Toby. Let's just leave it at that. It's back.
Thank you, Carathis.
I
Yeah,
just remember it being
thanks,
really dark
Kyrathis.
and then being and waking up here.
Well, we
Can I
had-
inside check him
Why?
to make sure he's telling the truth about him not remembering what happened?
Would Gripvold do that?
Probably.
Yeah.
He's a really.
There's something funky about someone being rezzed for no apparent reason by a god
Right.
and then not remembering.
I don't know
Okay.
if it's done by a god. I think not remembering
Let's say
is
funky.
pretty.
Ah,
Funky.
I think Mr. Gripvold is the one that's most like superstitious. 9/11 was an inside job. So
I'm shy at this as well, so probably going to roll.
I'm gonna dragon attack on the city with an inside job.
Can Dragonfire melt the steel beams?
Sorry, say that again?
13.
Okay, do an Ira roll it.
Yeah. He's pretty good at those.
Yeah, I'm going to get like below
That's a
9 1 and get more.
Oh.
He appears to be telling the truth.
I just keep hugging him and apologising and sobbing. And Mr. Sir Rampage. I'm sorry, Sir Rampage, I forgot your title. Comes and nuzzles you furiously as well.
I'm just gonna say to Toby, look, you can talk to me about all of your issues with Carlia. I am here to listen and to give advice.
Where is Carlia?
She's coming in 2 hours.
Oh,
That's what
yeah,
we
that's
need
the
to
thing.
call
We
them
should
off.
probably call that off.
We need to call them
No,
off.
no.
No, but,
I wanted to go ahead.
but they
But
know that it's
they're
gonna
gonna
appear.
come.
I know.
Well, should we go up and tell them to at least be ready for a fight or something?
Well, I
But it's
mean, we could
happening
just
now.
tell them when they arrive.
No, but
if
then they come
bring
here without
things.
any of the weapons or anything, and they've been caught halfway here or something.
I go up
At least they have
Dumna.
Dumna.
Head upstairs.
Hello there, Dumna. Dumna. There you go. How are you? I didn't see you earlier. I'm just still like covered in blood and soot.
Better than you.
Oh yes. So, you know, I think Bree said to arrange. With Carlia.
Yeah.
We this is a bit awkward, but I just want to say that with the best of intentions, maybe.
Did you guys head up with him?
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm
with them
still-
now.
I'm
You
still
just ran off.
downstairs.
I was just gonna say, make sure that
I
everyone's ready.
went on.
Possibly a fight is maybe, possibly.
Compromise this location?
No. I didn't compromise anything. I just told the order. Mr. Gribble, you say something.
I don't know. Remember me? I know I look kind of rugged and unusual now.
Handsome.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, I mean, because I know they're my friends, I think they're really nice.
I know. I think
Doesn't look
he
bad.
looks great, doesn't he, Dumna?
Very rugged. Continue.
Okay.
Also, roll a deception
Oh shit.
Hammer you at deception.
I'm not terrible. Weirdly, I'm actually quite good at it. 19.
18. You were saying?
So wait, are the triad coming here?
Are the triad coming here?
I
No,
don't know.
no.
I've been dead.
What happened? I'll give you the straight down low.
Can I just...
or as us halflings call it, the eye level. Sorry, what?
Come with me a second.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Mr. Gripball in a second, but I'll be right back.
You and Toby catch up with blah blah blah. And I'm going to kneel next to Trent,
Yes.
like away from other ears.
Sorry.
Is this the best time to be saying this?
No.
There could be a fight, and telling them the triad may or may not turn up,
No,
and they may come here unarmed. And what if the triad does turn up?
I know, but Lord Tobias seems to want to bring them here, even though the triad's coming.
Tell them that. Say the triad may be coming here. We may be compromised
Okay.
or something. Like
Okay.
I don't know. I generally don't know this situation as a whole. But if they all turn up here, it'll be a butchering.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Do they know that like the triad? Do the triad know it's here, or are they waiting for you to go back and tell them?
Oh, at this point, Bree's gonna come up the stairs and come join them.
The triad don't know. And the
Right,
triad,
if the triad don't know and they are waiting for you, then the meeting is fine.
they do know Dumna's involved though, so they might just come for him anyway.
In that case, don't tell Dumna.
I
Dumna.
have an
Don't
idea.
tell him the triad is coming.
Okay.
Why don't we use the
Yeah,
horn?
don't tell them the triad are coming.
Okay. I'll follow your lead, Mr. Gripball.
What if
No,
we
don't
use the
follow my lead.
horn?
Carry on. I'm just trying to make sure we're on the right track.
Okay. our story straight. Sorry, Bree, what was that?
We could use the horn. Get all of the members of the rebellion through into the Feywild.
I'm not sure I'd be a ghost, but
The horn's a little temperamental though.
A little bit before.
Remember, getting in is the easy part. Getting out.
Well, I think we should at least be on standby with it, so if the soldiers do arrive, then we can get everyone to safety where they can't follow.
I think we're going to be fine. I think I've got an idea. I'm thinking.
Okay.
Is the dragon dead?
is Donna still
Yeah,
there, by the way?
yeah. I killed it and
No,
then
I took Trent away.
Okay, so you've come over with us, okay.
I killed it and then kicked it into the lava.
Yeah,
Do
which
they know the dragon is dead?
I'm not sure. They didn't believe
seem to not
us.
believe us. Because we were like, oh, look, we killed the dragon, bring you back because you're awesome. But they were like, oh, well, how do we know the dragon's dead? Because I kicked it into the lava because I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, we're never getting a long rest before this fight.
I'm how am I feeling?
Great question. You feel it's bizarre. You both feel like you've slept. Yeah. Oh, did I mention the
Dun,
tits
dun,
again?
dun, dun, dun.
What did we say? Chloe was his name? No.
Chloe, yeah.
You both feel like you've both slept an incredibly long time. You're that kind of feeling you get when you feel very rested.
There's Fanta through there. They can
Fanta. Do you want anything?
I'd love a water.
You have a cup? No.
No, just grab a cup from the cup. You that kind of feeling of rest, where kind of almost like every part of you feels like kind of new and rejuvenated, and yet at the same time you are bone achingly tired. One might say you have -4 to all rolls.
Okay. Confident. I'm happy with that.
Better than being dead.
Right.
Almost feels like you have a new body.
So the Triad don't know that we don't have a pet dragon.
No.
No. Yeah, that they went
I
there,
think the
checked
only
lab.
thing better
They
than
didn't find the dragon because it's dead in the lava. So I can see where you're going with this. They don't know that.
I think we should put on a bit of a show for them.
However, we did tell them the dragon was dead though. So if you
Who can do an illusion that strong? You can?
It did it when we were fighting the dragon.
Fire giant. No, you did. Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You summoned the
yeah.
dragon. Yeah, and a fire giant.
Sorry, I blocked all of my memories of that fight because it was very traumatic.
Three.
Definitely wasn't a long time ago.
Yeah, it's not like it was months ago or anything. it was just earlier today.
Okay. Huh.
Doll, you want anything?
I say
that's a lot.
we let the Triad come, and we. I mean, I feel confident with the fact that we could turn people to our cause.
It's just,
We've slain a dragon.
I'm sure I think that you probably could,
Yeah.
Lord Tobias. It's just that we have, it's been really recent and we haven't had a chance to rest at all. So if there was a fight,
I feel fine. I feel like I've got a brand new body or something.
once again, you look rugged and but it's just that I personally feel completely tapped out.
Right.
I'm feeling quite healthy, but in terms of magic,
Okay.
I don't know how
So
do
do
you
we call
how do you
off for-
feel?
I actually feel fine.
Mr. Gritbald, how do you feel?
Not terrible. Short
I
rest and
feel
nothing.
about 100%.
Well, never mind. If
Just a spellcaster issue.
yeah, no, it's fine. I've got most of my
Let's not go
Yes.
into this with the mind frame of we're going to be in a fight. Let's rely on our words.
Hasn't really worked so far.
You haven't had me.
We've
Well,
always got the
excuse me,
horns
I
and
rolled a
backup.
28 on deception earlier.
Why did you roll a 28 on deception?
Well, I rolled a 19 and I get +9.
I don't know what you're talking about, Bree.
She rolled 28 coins.
Oh,
It's fucking mental.
did you pick them back up?
Of course I did. Who do you think you're talking to?
Did you get any gold out of the dragon's
We
sword?
got 1,000.
Oh yeah.
Each.
Oh.
No.
No.
Bags of
Well, there
rubies.
was more, but
Oh, they all took it.
they took it.
The triad's gonna be rolling in dosh.
The city's going to be rolling in
Think
dollars.
how many apples they could buy. Like 20.
Well, yeah, actually, Toby's got a good point. That money belongs to the city now. That's good because then we can help to fix the damage that's
Well, it
been
doesn't
done.
belong to the city. It belongs to the triad.
Who are in charge of
the
the
city.
city.
I feel it's probably going to go to the back
No, that's what I
pockets.
mean.
But we can try and make sure that it gets put towards the city.
Which means we need to continue to press the rebellion.
I know, but I don't think a final connotation.
Or us having a pet
this is
dragon.
hot.
Why does that have people?
No,
want to
you know
follow
what?
us?
I was dismissive of
Fear.
Toby before,
I know, but
and
that's
then
just
that made
fear
me feel
versus fear,
incredibly
because
guilty.
No, you're right.
The triad are
So
just
I'm gonna
scary.
stand
There's
behind
no
Mr.
that.
Gritvold,
Trying
you've
to
got a
scare the people.
You've got a
We're just
strong
trying to scare the
mind.
triad.
What do you think of this? Should we bring all of the rebellion here with the triad knowing
Well, we've
it's...
already summoned them. I
I
don't know
was
if we
just
can
gonna
unsummon
suggest-
them.
Brie.
Yeah?
Maybe do a quick, like do a quick skirt around the inn and a few buildings out, and just look, see if there's anyone
watching?
suspicious or guard-like watching the area.
Okay,
Put a rest so I can make you invisible.
Do you want me to help you?
that's okay. I'll just rely on my natural
I
stealthiness.
feel Brie would best do it.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Obviously, if you get into trouble, coming out, shout for us. Maybe don't come straight to the building.
It's okay. I'll just run and hide somewhere.
If you
We
really
could
need
also
help, shout help.
Create
and
an
we'll know that you're
illusion
in trouble.
of the building
It's a great code.
not being here.
It's a halfway. It's
Yeah. It's an old tradition.
Just
Okay,
send
I'm
everything,
gonna go and do
investigate the
that.
What if they came
So,
around?
yeah,
Oh,
my
the
thing
pub
is,
used to be
there's
here.
no pressing
I don't know.
eyes
Walk
around,
around.
then we should go right to have
It's
this
been a busy day for me.
You're probably right. Good idea.
I'm
Okay,
just running through all the
let's do it, Lord Tobias. So are we telling Dom now that they might be coming?
Just hang on.
Okay, right.
Well, I think maybe tell Domna that there's a slight chance someone might have followed us from the cathedral, but I'm going out to check.
Okay. Now we'll go and see, and if there's someone, then we'll tell him. If not, then there's no reason to worry
Okay.
because he's a very angry man.
I'm gonna go and do what Gritbold suggested. I'm gonna try and be very, very stealthy and check the surrounding area.
Before you leave the inn, Damna, who got told that the triad may or may not be coming, is still waiting at the edge of the inn, at the bar, waiting for you, like expectingly waiting at you to fill them in.
Yeah,
So he says,
I'm not caring. I'm
Yeah.
walking out.
before you leave, he goes, before you leave, please explain whether
I'll go
we've
do
got
it.
an imminent attack or.
Dom, I can explain everything. I'll have one cider. Hex, you want anything?
Yeah, me that too.
Lord Tobias, how are you feeling? There you go. How are you feeling?
I could use a drink.
Okay, yeah. So
I
one
slip
cider,
out the door.
one beer, and could I?
Stop
What you? Wait, fire water.
Sure.
And one fire water, please. Sorry, Mr. Grippold. Would you like anything?
Ooh, one.
I'll just have a walk.
Just a water for Mr. Grippold, thanks.
Yeah, so that is a 28 stealth.
Yeah, you slip out fine.
I rolled a
I'll be
one.
having no drinks, thank you. I mean, I'm your friend, but come on. Do I need to warn people?
Oh, right. No, sorry. I'm gonna be straight with you.
There's always the chance that we might have, found
What's
out.
this change of mood? What's this?
It's just
It's not
because
us.
we
It was
just
thinking
fought a dragon,
Yeah,
and we're feeling very on edge,
yeah,
you know. And
no.
look, don't
He's
worry.
never fought a dragon before.
Don't worry. By the way, how did the shipment? You know, the aftermath of that amazing work we did last night.
Deception check.
Come on.
Mm. How would you like these apples?
Oh.
Terrible way to roll.
Trend.
Just drop
6. What was that?
natural.
Oh God!
It doesn't even matter what you rolled there.
Yeah, so we were really good with getting you all that booze, right?
Yeah, you were. But perhaps you were just trying to gain the trust so you could summon all of us together and then you could take out the rebellion.
Whoa, okay, look.
Would I
Dom,
do that?
I
I'm
can-
the symbol of the rebellion. Why would you want to
Been here 2 days, I don't know you.
Look, talk to Mr. Gritbold. He knows all about it.
Mr. 11 Charisma definitely should be.
I'll back you up. Whatever Mr. Gritbold's about to say, I cannot reiterate enough.
For goodness sake. Right. I wasn't at this. We had a run-in. Well, when I say we, I wasn't there. There was a run-in with the Triad, all the leaders of the Triad. We got away. So I keep saying we. I'm just going to say we because we are a group.
Please continue.
We got away, but there's always the chance they may have followed. So, before we have this meeting, we're making sure no one is watching the surrounding area. Obviously, we don't want to be caught with our trousers down while we're here. So, that's why Bree is making sure no one's followed or is spying on this area.
Has Bree gone?
As you say this, he looks around at Bree, who he thought was there. And he's noticed she's left.
Oh, I don't know. I'm so sorry, and I hate to rush you, but those drinks. I was just wondering on this situation.
Continue.
So Bree's checking out the surrounding area and making sure no one is spying or watching this area before we call the meeting, because obviously we don't want a meeting call if the place is crawling with Triad followers.
You guys need to get your story straight, but you've earned your trust with me for now, but we'll be on edge.
Quite right. We're all on edge as well, don't worry. Believe me, I do not like these people one bit.
I go over to a table with Mr. Gritbold. I'm so sorry for dumping you in it. I get so uncomfortable when I have to lie.
Dana
Yes.
barely looks like he's even vaguely convinced that any of the words that you guys just said, because he got a natural 20. But for now, he's kind of accepting it. But you do see him speaking to one of his one of the other patrons in the inn.
Oh, can I go back up to the second?
You go back up to the man.
Yeah.
Make sure. Oh, ask about our drinks.
He's asking about the other, but what I will say is, if we do call a meeting, I would have people bring arms just in case.
Yeah, that's what I was just telling this gentleman here. Yeah. Yeah.
Great minds and all that. Yeah, I'll go sit right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy you're back.
It's nice to be back.
I'm so sorry.
Don't mention it. I'm sorry, Tay. It was weird. It was a very strange experience. I mean, nothing happened, but it was very, very strange.
They ride a dragon now.
What?
They ride a dragon.
That's nice. So the sky doesn't, like, disfiguring.
Drinks. What was that? Where's our drinks? Something wrong, man.
Oh, I actually have a steel mirror in my bag.
What?
Steel mirror. It's written on it. I'm like a beast slayer. I need things like for any occasion. I've got a crowbar, I've got a chest, I've got holy water. This came with my background.
What
You
was the
needed
steel
to
mirror?
fight
you need the mirror?
Gorgons.
Wait, why are
Because
you
I was
mentioning
going to
that?
show himself.
Oh, okay.
see.
Yeah, okay. I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah, I
Like,
didn't-
why the fuck do you have a
You're going to
mirror?
devise it as.
That's all I was going to. Do you want to see?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, sure.
If you want, I can be your mirror. You just look fantastic.
Nice.
Take out my bag.
No, it's not that bad, really. I think with a couple Bree's not here. Mr. Gritbold, I looked at Mr. Gritbold. I get absolutely no help.
What are you talking about? It's not that bad.
No,
I take my mask off.
No, God. You're not like Mr. Gritbold's hand. Look, I've got this wart on my back. Oh, God.
Oh, dragon.
Look, you really.
I cast disguise person to make myself look like me.
No, you only.
Who are you?
I feel like Michael Fassbender in the X-Men movie. I want to see the real. Real Tobias.
I might just leave this up until we see Kalaya and, you know.
She'll love it. You killed a dragon.
Dragon killed me.
No, as you hit it with your loot, and it killed it.
Where's my loot?
It's in the bottom of a pile of lava. If you want, we can go find it.
I don't
But
know.
it might be a bit out of tune
Yeah.
with the whole
There's
meltedness.
wood, yeah.
How's Bree doing, I wonder?
Moving to Bree. You exit the inn. Shadow itself surrounds you.
The exit and in. Is it called an out?
No, it's down
You go in and out. But it's got two T's.
Thank you.
What do you want to do?
I'm going to stealthily scout the surrounding area to see if there's anyone who looks to be, I don't know, lurking suspiciously, anyone that I might recognise from the cathedral, soldiers, guards, that sort of thing.
Okay, perception check. We'll say the 28th stealth hit.
Thank you.
Because that's very
11 perception.
Okay. You look about. Doesn't appear to be anyone as you're going around. You move through the buildings. You kind of go through the stables. You kind of make sure no one's kind of looking in from other windows.
Okay, nice. I'm going to return to the inn then.
Can I inside check the DM?
Girl,
Yeah, so I'm just going to go back to the inn.
How we were just
Coast is clear outside.
That's good. You happy now, Mr. Grippold? You look thrilled.
Real.
Look,
Yeah, I am good.
It's almost like you knew that I didn't roll that well on perception.
yeah.
I don't
I'm
even know
not
that.
willing to spot people and things.
Me too. My eyes are just crusty.
I was just saying how
Tobias, what did you do to your face?
it's not I wanted to be
self-conscious
about it.
But you looked so rugged and handsome with the scar.
I tried to show it.
Is it like a red scar that goes all the way down? You could like pretend it's like an imprint of someone who snuggled into you and you just rolled out of bed.
You didn't feel it somehow, did you? Because it's gonna drive Carlisle wild.
I'm worried about it.
You
What,
want
you
Carlisle
don't
to like
want
you.
her? You don't want that.
I don't know. Things are strange.
The world is a
Do
crazy
they
place.
have drinks?
It's like music.
Yeah, you do we have drinks? Thank you,
Okay, you know what,
I
Toby?
said
No,
you
you
don't.
do not.
I'm going to go
You still
up and
shall.
get you a drink, and then we're gonna
And drink
talk
your
about
own
this,
cider.
okay?
If you want to talk about this with Carlisle,
Think how amazingly handsome your babies would be.
well, they wouldn't be monstrously scarred.
You're not
You're
monstrously
not
scarred.
monstrously scarred.
Hex is monstrously scarred.
That's true.
Do you want to say it again?
Hey,
Go on,
see,
go on.
that-
No, thank you. Sounds dreadful, actually.
Hey,
Can I die again, please?
Oh my goodness! Can
Huh?
I just say, Bree, your foot hair is lustrous this morning,
thank you.
and my sideburns, I think, have a certain sheen to them. If I'm not
We
wrong.
just realised we're now the pretty ones of the party.
My rugged, rosy cheeks,
Maybe.
my pot belly. I would have to say, Mr. Gridwald, on a good day, you know, without someone seeing his hand, I think is a solid, 6. But whew,
Us.
yeah.
Pop belly trying and
I'll go to Dunbar.
Well, with this confidence boost, I'm going right up to Dumna and I'm gonna ask for a glass of
Can I
very
just see that
expensive
mirror
wine
for a
for Toby.
You guys are evil. Yes, he's ugly now.
still somewhat unconvinced of your earlier performance. He puts forth 5 tankards of ale and says, "You can have these. Gift from me. Now, please."
I'm gonna give him a charming smile, say thank you.
Wow!
You
You're not
could
gonna
have-
stop anywhere. You're just gonna swagger around.
Goodness.
God.
That big head dragging along behind you.
Is it hot in here or is it just me?
No, it's free as well.
It's,
It's
oh,
free.
yeah, it's me, actually. It's residual lava burn.
That's what they say, isn't it? Because if you want to look prettier, you have ugly people around you. And you're surrounded by hideous people.
Don't say that's the line, but yes.
Not you guys. I meant
The rest of the
Domna.
pages.
I meant Domna.
Domna not like a 9.
Was he not?
Oh yeah,
Not to
I've
halfling.
gotten written down that he's very pretty.
Not to halfling.
Pretty as well.
Where's his hairy feet?
That's true.
I bet he
Like-
doesn't have 5 meals a day.
He's too skinny.
I
Exactly.
dropped the spice.
Let me ask you this: if you were to sleep with him, I
Oh,
bet
no.
you wouldn't even have snacks in his bedside drawers.
Oh no,
I know.
don't.
What is happening?
We got sidelined.
And that's in character as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We just got carried away on it.
I'm gonna
ego
take
trip.
these ales back and I'm gonna hand my.
I'm going to go on to Dunga and explain that we don't see anyone watching.
Okay.
The premises or the surrounding area.
I appreciate you checking.
Gritball, get back here. We're gonna toast to Tobias being alive.
Okay, yes.
But remember, we told him that he wasn't. Or, done that, right? Did you not say that? we were done
Domna's
that, right?
seen him.
To Lord Tobias.
Cheers.
Yeah, I'm alive.
To the
To Tobias
Being
being
alive.
alive.
Viva la Resistance. It's album.
Cheers.
Domna's still caught and twitching.
Oh, I don't normally drink alcohol. Oh.
Shall we wait until? Shall we
Yeah,
wait until
I
the
didn't
resistance
drink
arrives?
any, I just toasted
Yeah.
it from there.
Poured it down your lap a little bit. Shall we wait until the resistance arrives?
Let's wait until the resistance.
As you finish toasting, creak as the door of the inn opens, and they're signing the door. Please call out.
Oh, Hex, Mr. Gritvold, Bree, I think there's something in that corner I wanted to show you.
And I think we'll leave it there,
Woo!
if that's okay.
He's not dead!
He's not dead!
The resistance lives on!
Yeah.
The picture? Yeah. Alright.
Batman symbol in the
The lines of the paper.
Yeah, I think it's better there than to start the next section or whatever.
Why nothing's gonna happen, right? We're just gonna meet the resistance together. Everyone's
Yeah,
gonna go
there
on
was nobody
happily.
out there, I checked.
0 people.
We're not making up for all the months we've missed in just one massive session. So, 24 hours.
What is all the monsters?
Do you really want to do a 24-hour session?
This group would, yeah.
Yeah, I'd do that.
No. No, I almost cancelled again because I didn't feel great, and I was like, I can't do this again. So, yeah, I don't want it to go into it. So.
Well, that can't
Oh,
have been an
You
easy
can't
one
see
to
that.
write, so well done.
Oh, thanks.
I wouldn't go